So Africa could be a top 5 country in the world. And, Africa could take, I said Africa like the continent, but African countries could take a page out of Japan's handbook. Think about Japan. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, they were bombed by the atomic bombs, I should say, hydrogen bomb. Let's just say nuclear weapons, and devastated the continent. The country, I should say, of Japan, or island nation. But again, Japan, it's a country with no natural resources. And I can remember the automobiles they used to have coming out of Japan back in the 70s and 80s. They weren't that good. But think about where they came from. Here's a country that was bombed with nuclear weapons, devastated, military wiped out, no natural resources. But as far as economies go, they're ranked in the top 5 in the world, as small as of a nation as it is. So what is it that the Japanese did? Well, one thing that they did was they re-educated everybody. They kind of chose what field you would go into. In other words, they had so many engineers, they had so many doctors, they had so many people in different fields to help build the country. And those people got the best education that they could in those fields. And look at them today. So see what's missing in Africa, and even in America, amongst the blacks in America, could do the same thing. Start stressing certain fields of education. Not just the social fields and entertainment and all that kind of foolishness, because that stuff it's not tangible, so to speak. It's for entertainment. But take a book out of Japan's history and apply it and see if it'll work. I think it will, just like it did for them. Because I think if certain countries like Nigeria or Ghana, if they have the natural resources. Now, how do you go about making those natural resources appealing to the masses? I'm talking about other countries to want to buy, because what they're doing right now is other countries, the Asians and even the Europeans, they're going in, taking a lot of the raw material, and then they're making it into, producing it into something that's appealing to the masses. For instance, oil. Oil has to be refined. Gold has to be refined. Diamonds, they have to be polished, cut and polished. For instance, a raw diamond, you could go and find let's say a 5-carat raw diamond in the rough diamond. May sell for $2,000 a carat. But depending on its quality, its cut, color, and size, carat weight, let's say you cut it down to 2 carats. And it's a flawless diamond. That same diamond that you paid $2,000 a carat for may sell for $20,000 a carat or $50,000 a carat. But while it was with the Africans, they sold it for $2,000. Now, once it's been cut and polished and it's in the hands of others outside of Africa, Now it's worth 20 times, 50 times as much. So you see, that's just one avenue. I mean, there's so many different raw materials in Africa that's unlimited. So once they figure that out, trust me, they will leap over all these other countries in the world. Which brings me to, what is it that Black Americans plan to leave behind for their children? Legacy, so to speak. Because that's the key to wealth in America, as far as Black Americans are concerned. It has to start somewhere. So since your father and his father's father and their parents didn't leave you anything, start today. Just make a conscious decision that today I'm going to start saving $1 a day for my children. I don't care how old they are. If they're 50 years old, it didn't make a difference. So when you pass, you leave something for them. Not just some old clothes that they don't want, or, something that they can't use. But leave something tangible for them, something they can either sell and make a profit with, or, like land, real estate, things of that nature, or other products that have increased in value, or money. In my case, I'm leaving my children businesses. So they won't have to go out and try and, beg somebody for a job. They'll have one. But, this, it may not be for you. You find other things that you can actually leave behind for your children so they can build on it. Now, regardless of whether they do it or not, if you're dead, you wouldn't know anyway. So do it. Take a chance on them building upon whatever it is that you leave, and teach them. Because too many times, so many of us, we don't teach the next generation. We say, well, we learned it on our own, so let's just, you have to learn it yourself. Which is something else I don't agree with. Because think about this for a minute. If you say, okay, by the time you're 18 years old, you got to get out of my house, or 16 or 21 or whatever, and go get a job, and you haven't really helped your children or child to be successful in whatever it is that they plan to do, then what you're telling them is, okay, you go out there and you fend for yourself, regardless of what it is. And sometimes some of these young ladies, they go off and, they resort to some things that they don't really want to do, but they have to do in order to survive. So my thinking is, let's do something for the next generation so they don't have to resort to those things that they really don't want to do. Sell your body, sell drugs, all these other things that are something that they shouldn't be doing. Let's just put it that way. Unethical, unlawful, immoral. So that's just something to think about. Think about what do you plan to leave as far as a legacy? What do you plan to leave? And I don't care what you say. I don't care what you're doing. If you can afford to go off and buy a $400 weave or $200 weave, or buy $50 worth of alcohol, or you're spending so much money on other drugs, weed, and things like that, that you can only use for a certain period of time, and take a few dollars out of that and set it aside for a fund for you. It's called it a children's fund. So when you pass away, say you have 5 kids, and you've placed $1 a day until the day that you pass, and then just have it in your will where you want that money divided, or whatever. How much? It could be $200 that you've saved, but it's more than nothing. So think about that for just a few minutes. So, and let me go back to this this pro-black thing, because some of us, we talk about pro-black and we stressing about doing things for the black community. But if you're a pro-black person, the question I want to ask is, if you're making movies and you're doing all this commentary and you're asking people to send you money for this and money for that, and you want to build a school and you're asking money for that, I'd like to know, what is it that you've done for the community so far, financially? What have you done? Do you have a nonprofit where is it you're helping young people get jobs, helping them get their GED, that, you're helping the ex-felons get training, get education, further education, things like that. What have you done? What are you doing? This is a question I think a lot of your subscribers should ask. And it seems like a very logical question to ask. If I'm sending you money for your commentary, what are you doing for the community? Or do you think you should do anything for the community? Do you think you should just receive everything and give nothing back? I mean, think about it. If you call yourself a pro-black or conscious community, other than giving somebody an award, which is worthless. I mean, other than making a person feel good, it's an ego booster. It's like, okay, let me give you this Academy Award. Is it worth anything? It's just a big piece of brass or a big piece of metal. I mean, can I sell it? So think about this for a minute. I mean, ask. Don't be afraid to ask. So what nonprofit do you have in the community? I'm not talking about every Thanksgiving you give a turkey. You drive around with a truckload of turkeys and you're out giving those turkeys away. Come on, that's a meal. How long is that going to last? I'm talking about what tangible item do you have? What foundation, what nonprofit have you established that's helping your community financially? Get jobs, award scholarships, provide training, further their education, instructions on parenting skills. Come on. I think that's a question that needs to be asked. I think that's a question that you should ask these people that you're sending money to, that you're giving money to. What are they doing? Now, they could say, well, we're using that money to pay for things that's needed on our channel, on our media, microphones, and give better quality pictures and all. Okay, that's all well and good, but if you're so-called pro-black, you should be doing something for the community, for your community, that a person can actually seek and say, okay, this is my foundation, whereas we're providing jobs and providing skills and training for this community, and we have a track record. We've helped 15 people obtain GED. We've helped 10 people get jobs. But if you have nothing to say, there's nothing that you can prove that you've done, how pro-black can you be? Other than just words, because, I don't want to see a movie that's talking about, okay, I'm educating my people. Is it free or do we have to pay for it? Because now, like I said, if you have to pay for it, then there should be something in return that a person should be getting in a black community. There should be something. So ask your pro-black or your conscious community, what are they doing specifically in the community to help the community? Not just giving toys on Christmas and that type of thing. No. Or maybe you give backpacks during school. No, I want to know, what is it that you're doing long lasting on a consistent basis? Not once or twice a year. You know, you have the food drive, you have the award show. No, I'm not talking about that type of thing. I'm talking about, what are you doing, or what have you done on a consistent basis to help the black community? A simple question that anybody can ask.